All right, and welcome back to episode 31 of the Alec Frengos Show. This is a sports podcast centered around NBA and NFL, and today I'm joined by Jay Price and Joey Price. And today we're going to be recapping a couple of things. NFL season, week 14, starting to come to an end, and we're starting to get towards December football, which means the good teams are going to start to win, and the bad teams are going to start to lose, which we could perfectly start off with the Miami Dolphins collapsing on Monday Night Football, had a 13-point lead. Game honestly gifted to them the way they played. 13-point lead, 3 minutes left, total collapse by the defense. Couldn't move the sticks without Tyreek Hill running real routes on a game-closing drive. And just kind of, what do you guys think of this Dolphins team heading into a competitive schedule? Cowboys,
Ravens.
and Ravens. Sorry.
Shit.
What do you kind of look for this Dolphins team when it comes to playoff time? And who knows, if they won this game, they could have locked out the division. But now it really is in jeopardy, especially playing those two teams. And then the third team, Week 18, is the Bills, which could be for the division. What do you think?
Yeah. I definitely think they'll still win the division. They got a 2-game lead. I think they take it fairly easy, in my opinion. I just think it kind of shows how important Tyreek Hill is to the Dolphins.
He's out. That people said by him not playing, he's the most valuable player. That's pretty hard to do for any other player by not playing, showing you're the most valuable player.
Yeah, the offense did not look good at all when he was not on the field. I mean, losing that's a really bad loss. It just kind of shows they're underprepared going into the game, and they kind of took the Titans lightly.
Absolutely. And Tua said it's a wake-up call.
It is.
You can't have wake-up calls in December because that means you slept way too past into your alarm. Because now you can't lose these games now because this is where the playoff seeding really means to matter. You have been first place this whole time. Congrats. It's going to matter when Week 18's over. So you think this Dolphins team, you think they're going to start to kind of trend downwards even more?
No, I'm not worried about them. I like them. They're good. And they have a lot of good games coming up. I think they'll at least take 2 of them. They'll beat the Jets, obviously, and then I think they'll at least take 1 of the 3.
Bills,
I think they'll beat
Ravens,
the Bills because the Bills beat them earlier in the year. And they're playing in Miami, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Week 18.
Ravens and Cowboys,
They'll be 3.
not more this year, but when they've had these kind of like Dak and Lamar eras, it seems to be you're either going to get the best team that you won't be able to beat, or you're going to get some bullshit type of team where something happens and they just play like total garbage. They're yet to kind of do that because they've won a ton of games. Obviously, the Ravens collapsed against the Colts and the Cowboys lost to the Cardinals a couple weeks in. But for me, about the Dolphins, they're kind of a team I looked at that will make the playoffs, but I can't see them doing much noise. And the biggest problem for me still is Tua Tagovailoa. I just can't. You can't watch him without Tyreek Hill. When all these plays are surrounded around him, which is a little bit of Mike McDaniel's fault. You got to have plays in there for Waddle, a chain now, Mostert. Like, you have to implement these guys.
Yeah.
But without Tyreek Hill, he was forced a little bit, obviously with the O-line injuries too that happened early in the game. Connor Williams, torn ACL, their center. He's still, there's a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that now are able to get the ball, if they don't have the reads, at least roll out of the pocket and either throw it away or make a throw on the run. And if he was able to do that, it'd make him such a better quarterback. But for the game on the line, on the 4th down play, he had it, he stepped up in the pocket, didn't know if he was going to throw or run, just fell to the ground because there's defensive linemen now that are so athletic catching up to him. Yeah. It seems to be a huge problem for Tua because if you can't improvise in this league anymore, it's really, really hard to take your team to the next level. I really believe that. Look at the last Super Bowls we've had. Stafford, maybe the king of improvising. Joe Burrow, he can do stuff with his legs when needed. Mahomes hurts, obviously, when we know who they are athletic-wise. And we saw it, not to bring it up already, but Jared Goff against the Bears. I know you didn't catch too much of the game, but he just, when you're in the pocket and you don't have anything, the ability to have athleticism is huge now in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because every position is so athletic. And if you're a quarterback now and you stand still like a statue in the pocket, it's such a negative to have now. I don't know. What do you want? You guys want to add anything to that? I think that athleticism is so big when it comes to winning big games.
Yeah, I have a funny story. Actually, last night I was going to go to bed. It was like 1 a.m. I was like, okay, maybe I'll go to bed. But I pulled up YouTube and I watched some Hendon Hooker highlights, and he was awesome. Like, I didn't know he was that fast.
Second or third round pick, sorry.
Third round.
Might be
like
a little
end of the
slow
third
now
round.
after the injury.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he's definitely still more mobile than Jared Goff.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But being a third round pick, I think you're definitely going to get a shot. Definitely.
I think somewhere.
I don't like he won't touch the field until preseason next year, but
yeah,
unless we have the division clinched and nothing, our seed won't change.
Well, let's
in week 18,
be honest.
But I don't think we'll even play in week 18.
If the Lions make the playoffs, Jared Goff is obviously the starter next year.
Well,
there really should be a question
it's his job
asked.
to lose until
But
he's shit.
Next year, if you kind of get into it, you make the playoffs, you don't win a game, and then your floor kind of caps out at that.
Yeah.
Then you got to look for, obviously, a new replacement for quarterback, because that's what's taken teams over the hump in previous years. We've seen it every year, what's happened.
Yeah.
Rodgers to the Jets, who knows what it could have been. Stafford won a Super Bowl getting traded from your Lions. Russell Wilson is maybe coming along. I don't think they'll win a Super Bowl, but he's definitely elevated the team that they were for sure.
As what,
from Drew
improviser?
Lock.
Or
No,
just
no,
a
no,
player?
no. Just a player. How
okay.
quarterbacks have elevated teams.
Yeah.
Because their floor is capped out due to what the quarterback play they have.
Yeah.
Like a lot of teams, they've had everything they had, and then they get the quarterback. Obviously, the prime example, Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers. They really they had a great defense, weapon room, decent O-line, decent coach, Bruce Arians, and they win a Super Bowl. All it takes is a really elite level QB, and if the Lions can go grab one in for a couple picks, it doesn't take much, I think, to get a good quarterback in this league anymore, unless it's Mahomes or obviously a generational one. But if you can elevate from Jared Goff, and if Hendon Hooker's that, it's even better because it's in-house money, right?
Yeah.
So
We'll
that's
see.
what I look for. I don't like the quarterbacks now that can't improvise on the go, because Tua is obviously not the main reason they lost that game, but he had many chances to close that game out, and he wasn't able to do it by himself. Talking about quarterbacks, and another Monday night game on the doubleheader, Giants defeat the Packers, and the Tommy DeVito story lives on. I don't know for how much longer it will live on, but if they kind of cruise off into the off season here, as how many wins do they have right now?
5.
Five.
I think they're 5 and 8.
If they cruise off
They're
into
5
the
and 8.
off season, they win 2 out of their next 4. If you're Brian Dable and Joe Shane, the GM, would you be open to having a quarterback competition in training camp next year?
Yeah.
Well, you have to now.
Daniel
Because
Jones
Daniel
is
Jones
shit.
is off an ACL tear, and he did not look good at the start of the season at all.
No. Go ahead.
And then
go ahead.
DeVito, he's performing really well. He won Offensive Player of the Week for the NFC. And I think Brian Dable really likes having
What he
like
can
a
do.
bad QB and like trying to win. He likes that, I feel like.
He likes the challenge.
Yeah, he really likes it.
But for me, I feel like, number one, New York media and New York fans are going to be the first people to get on you.
Yeah.
I haven't heard one thing about Tommy DeVito in a bad way,
No.
which for the New York media is extremely shocking when it's come to quarterbacks in the last year. So, like, obviously you're going to look at the draft too, and you're going to say this is a very generational draft class. If one falls into our lap, like, what are we going to do? We paid this quarterback $40 million who fooled us by one season in a contract year because Brian Dable came in fresh-minded, ready to help this team. They won a playoff game. You pay Daniel Jones. He didn't even elevate from last year. He got worse. Obviously, had the ACL tear in Vegas. They just seem so stuck because you're paying this quarterback so much money that could end up being your backup next year to DeVito or somebody via the draft. So, what do you think? You think it's Jones next year? Do you think it's DeVito, or you think it's a drafted QB?
I don't know. I don't think they'll be picking high enough to grab a quarterback who's like super, super good. I wouldn't be, if I'm them, I wouldn't be opposed to drafting one because I think everyone knows Daniel Jones is basically out. Like, everyone's out on him right now until he proves otherwise.
If you pay a quarterback that much money,
I know.
you have to start him.
the
That's why
problem,
they're
though.
in such a shit steam
Because
right
they paid
now.
him last year, right? And he's still got, 4 years?
This
left,
offseason.
probably. Yeah. So, I don't know. They're kind of stuck right now.
They can't draft a QB.
They could draft somebody late.
No,
Like,
because
I
Caleb
don't know who
Williams
would
will be
slide,
gone,
but-
Drake May will be gone, and then Jaden Daniels
Like
will probably be
fourth
gone.
round is maybe when they'll have to draft someone,
Yeah.
right? But
What's
For
that
me-
gonna do?
for me, if the Giants can string out a couple wins here, they play the Saints next week. They play the Eagles twice, which probably it will be 2 losses, and DeVito will probably get pounded
Oh,
one of
boy.
those 2 games really bad.
Eagles twice.
But the Saints, honestly, like if DeVito can go there and he can even keep it close with the roster they have against a Saints team that's must win, especially for the schedule they have. I think it's a really good sign for the organization to have, and making people competitive. Jones and DeVito in training camp. If Jones is obviously healthy, I think it's better for both because it's just going to make them play both at their best of their abilities. Because there's never a bad thing about competition, right? Like, it's not like Jones won't walk in there and think he's the number one guy because he got paid $40 million, probably like this year. Who's going to take him? Tyrod Taylor? Like, no, nobody would. So I could see a quarterback competition, and if DeVito really outperforms Daniel Jones, Brian Dable will be the first person to say, you'll start over Daniel Jones, and he'll roll with
he
whatever.
Hates Daniel Jones, too.
Brian Dable loves to win games, and especially in primetime. Besides the Sunday Night Football game where they got embarrassed by the Cowboys, it seems like every time the Giants are in primetime, they put up somewhat of a fight. Obviously, it's bad to say this year. The Seahawks, they got stomped on Monday Night Football. It was like week 5.
I remember that.
And then obviously we all know week 1 what happened. The Cowboys stomped them. But I don't know. They just seem to be good. Saquon elevates to a different level in primetime. And the team needs a wide receiver in the first round. I don't even think it's a debate. The wide receiver class is, I haven't looked too deep into it, but it's looking pretty good from what I've seen so far. So that could definitely help them instead of drafting the Wan'Dale Robinsons and Jalen Hyatts. Like they got to know by now. It's not, none of those guys are cornerstones. Wan'Dale Robinson's cool. Hyatt's a deep threat. You need a target hog in that offense, especially with Saquon having the box loaded every play and still somehow breaking 70-yard runs is pretty impressive. And to the last part, kind of Monday Night Football, I know you were high on the Titans coming into this year. Is Will Levis the future of this team?
I agree. I think so, 100%. I think he's, as somebody who didn't even expect to get any playing time at the start of the year, and he comes in and he's already won a couple games.
I think he was going to get some snaps.
Think so
Not this early. I knew he was going to get into the game eventually.
I thought they'd be competitive with Tannehill.
But go on. Sorry, go on.
But I don't know. I just think you're a rookie. You're playing with a garbage team, to be honest. Like, his O-line sucks. So, I don't know. I think he's doing a really good job. And I really like his toughness and stuff. Like, I feel like it kind of helps because when he was at Kentucky, his team is Kentucky, his team is horrible.
It wasn't good.
I remember he had Robinson the year before that, and he was slinging it to him, and then he had nobody his last year going to the draft, and everyone said he was going to be a bust. But he's playing with a relatively similar team here, like not much talent other than Hopkins. Henry's washed too, by the way. I'll point that out now.
Only goal line touchdowns for him.
So
go ahead, Joey. What do you think?
I think he is the franchise quarterback because every other play he makes a great play. He can use his legs, and then he has a heck of an arm too. So I think I've seen enough flashes from him so far to allow him to start in the future.
Will Levis is literally, if you're a Titans fan, I don't know one personally, but the roller coaster of emotions you probably have watching this dude, I'd get a heart attack from one of these games if you were a competitive team. The thing with Will Levis, one play he's going to throw on the 1 yard line a pick six to a D lineman. In another play, he's going to throw a crossing route moon ball into a bucket into DeAndre Hopkins. So like you said, the flashes are there, but is it going to be enough time for him to cut it out? Like, is he going to keep doing these boneheaded plays? Like, he makes some pretty bad decisions sometimes.
Well, yeah,
Obviously,
also a rookie,
he's
though.
very, very young, yeah. But like we've seen with Josh Allen when he was younger. He obviously still has the interception problem, but he slings the ball around enough, I feel like, to get away with one interception a game.
Yeah.
Will Levis, he can't keep making these plays, like this many mistakes, because I've never seen a quarterback make this many good plays and this many bad plays. Like, we're not talking about Ritter because he makes the same mistakes as Levis, but he shows amazing flashes.
Ritter's shit.
Yeah.
Will Levis, he has the potential to be a Josh Allen-esque player. His honest full ceiling is a guy that drops back 40 times a game, maybe more, drops back 50 times a game and just whips the ball and keeps throwing it.
Yeah.
He's the type of dude that's literally like Josh Allen. He's stubborn. He doesn't want to see any pain. He'll throw it. He doesn't go down when he runs.
Yeah.
He takes everything. And if he can do what Josh Allen kind of did earlier on, don't make the stupid mistakes, kind of develop into this guy, I think Vrabel's one of the best coaches in the league, but I think he'll need an offensive coordinator that will kind of calm him down. Like, kind of, obviously not Sean Payton, but what he did to Russell Wilson, kind of tame him a little bit. Okay, you take your big plays once every so often, but you got to relax. You can't keep uncorking these risky plays into double coverage. I get you have DeAndre Hopkins, but like down the line, if this team can get some young pieces, look good, they'll be a very good team. No doubt about it, because if you have your quarterback, you have 40% of what you need to win a Super Bowl, maybe more. So I do think Will Levis can be the future of the Tennessee Titans. But if he keeps making these mistakes, I'm going to be out on him. But I'm obviously going to give him like 2 to 3 more years to cut this out. If he keeps doing like very, very bad stuff, not only the interceptions, but like just dumb plays. Like, you see a linebacker running at you, go down. You're gonna get hurt eventually. Josh Allen's kind of learned that, but he's still stubborn sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Levis has the ceiling to be a very, very good QB in the NFL, but his floor right now is the lowest in the NFL, I think. One of the lowest for sure.
Possibly.
Just because of the dumb stuff he does. So, moving on from that, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're on a 2-game losing streak. They went through a gauntlet. Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, and Dallas. They lose to their 2 conference rivals. And can the Philadelphia Eagles compete without their 2 coordinators that they lost this season?
I mean, yeah.
Can they win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, they have the talent at every single position. I think coordinators, it just takes time to get to know your players, get to know...
Week 14.
I know. But still, it's 2 teams that just have the same talent as you and have been together longer. So I think I don't know, they'll figure it out eventually. And it's like they lost 2 games in a row. It's not the end of the world. Jalen Hurts is still good.
You trust this? You could still trust this team to go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah. All they have to do if they get the 1 seed is beat San Francisco or Dallas.
Yep. Go ahead, Jay.
I mean, I don't like the Eagles at all.
Yeah, same.
But I think realistically, there's only 3 teams that can make the Super Bowl in the NFC, and they're one of them.
Sure.
Just because of the talent that they have on both sides of the ball. I really like how they picked up Byard too. He's been pretty good. Obviously it hurts losing both your coordinators because I feel like their offense could be so much better, and it's just not like fully like doing what it's capable of. I feel like
the credit Shane Steichen didn't get while he was in Philadelphia is very, very notable.
Yeah.
Obviously now he's getting it because he's got the Colts in the playoffs with the backup QB. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think they're a great team as much as I hate to admit it. I'd much rather see San Fran or Dallas in the Super Bowl over them, but I think they definitely have a chance to make it for sure.
Obviously, those are three big competitors in the NFC, the top dogs: Dallas, San Fran, Philadelphia. If you told me to rank them, I'd have Philadelphia at 3, though.
Yeah, me too.
I get Dallas. They choke in the playoffs, whatever. Dak Prescott, he doesn't really show up, but they seem lost on offense. Like, there's no fluidity.
Yeah.
It used to be A.J. Brown's going to have his 100 yards. Smith's going to have his 60 to 80 yards with a touchdown. Goddard's going to have his 4 receptions for 40 yards, and he's going to have big plays where he moves the chains. We're going to run it with Gainwell. They didn't have Swift last year, but we're going to run it with Swift. Jalen Hurts is going to run with his legs. I get he's a little bit banged up, but this team is like, they seem so stagnant. Like, the offense used to be way more explosive. So now you kind of look at it and you say, like, I don't trust this team to beat Dallas or San Fran in the playoffs. I just don't. I think that in the defense, even they lost Jonathan Gannon. Where'd the sacks go from this team? Weren't they close to breaking the all-time record last year?
70 last year.
They were second in all-time behind like the 95 Bears, 85 Bears, I think.
Yeah.
And nobody's sacking the QB with Jalen Carter, Hassan Reddick still, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, even though he's a little bit old, Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith, rookie. Like, the names, they go on and they go on. They can't get to the quarterback, it seems like. And they say about San Fran, you only need to rush 4. What do you need to do with Philadelphia? They have a Pro Bowl D-line as well. Jalen Carter is emerging into a superstar in front of our eyes in his rookie year. Fletcher Cox can still stuff the run. Brandon Graham can still sack the quarterback at 40 years old. Josh Sweat can still go. Reddick is one of the best pure pass rushers in the league. So it's just concerning. Everything kind of dropped down a notch for the Philadelphia Eagles. They looked, last year they looked so dominant. Like, they'd win games convincingly. They'd pound these teams. They'd win these games against Dallas. Now it's just there's something in the identity lost in this team. And that's why I asked this question, because I do think it is the coordinators. The talent's all there. It just needs to be put together way more fluently, I think.
Yeah. I think that's fair to say.
What would you rank the NFC teams 1 to 3?
I do the same thing.
Niners, Dallas.
Cowboys.
Okay.
Who's number 4, though?
It's tough.
I don't know. After this week,
On the inside looking in. On the
Seahawks,
outside looking in.
Lions.
It's the
Lions
Lions.
are Lions.
There's literally no one else good.
Yeah, Lions.
Like, there's good teams, but like they're not.
NFC is very.
That's like
very
saying
weak.
the Lions won't be the Vikings.
I mean,
in
maybe the
playoffs, so
Packers they
it's
beat
easy.
the Lions. Who knows?
No, Lions clear Packers.
I wish we had.
Packers just lost the Giants.
I wish we.
Giants are worse than the
honestly, truly, I'm not even trying to say this to get you mad. I wish we had a fully healthy Vikings team this year.
They'd be better.
I wish we did, because
Nah.
no. I wouldn't say.
It'd be close.
I wouldn't say they'd be better. The division race would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It'd be amazing. They'd be so close right now with Kirk Cousins playing the best football that he has his whole career. Obviously, Jefferson, if he didn't have an injury, the guy was averaging 150 yards a game in his first 4 games. Like, come on. So, and you add Addison too.
Yeah, that's actually.
It would have just been amazing. The Vikings would have been another team in the NFC to obviously watch out for a playoff win, not obviously a Super Bowl run, which would have strengthened up the NFC. But the conference is just so weak.
Yeah, because even looking at it, I've told you this. I'm not worried about the Vikings catching us. I was just worried about the Packers. Because the Vikings, like, they're a good team, but they can't get anywhere.
You don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, you can't get anywhere with a quarterback. So,
it's over. It's
over.
Yeah. So, moving on to quarterback, who's your current NFL MVP pick if the season ended today? I'll start with you, Jay.
I'm just gonna pick Tyreek Hill. I think.
Really?
Like,
so not speaking of quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go quarterback. I don't think there's anybody that's like head and shoulders above anybody this year.
Okay.
If I had to go a quarterback, I'd go with Dak, just because I think the way that he has that offense playing and the way that the Cowboys have been playing this year, I think this is almost. I think I haven't checked his stats really, but it's got to be one of the best years of his career.
Yeah.
Might be his best year of his career in terms of turning the ball over at least too. I don't even think he's double-digit interceptions.
And he
he's
said
finish with.
preseason, he said my interception numbers will be lower.
Yeah, and I remember that betting prop went out and everyone hammered the over on it.
Yeah.
So people are losing a lot of money.
He's only
on
at
that.
6 right now.
Yeah.
Last year he had 15.
Yeah. So you would go.
I'd go Tyreek Hill.
If you had a voting ballot, you'd put in Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I'd put in Hill. I just think that offense with him and without him, I think it goes from arguably first to like 15th, 16th.
Absolutely.
Like, it's crazy the difference he makes in a team.
Absolutely. I'm like, I obviously don't like love that the MVP award always goes to a QB, but I've said multiple times the most the hardest position in sports to play is NFL QB. I think it's not very debatable. I think it's one of the most pressured and most information taking things in sports. Probably the most information taking and pressure moment in sports. I'd go Dak Prescott. The way he's led this Dallas Cowboys team. He's elevated CeeDee Lamb to another level, and Tony Pollard's he hasn't really got going like we thought he would when Zeke left. So for Dak to be that efficient in the passing game without a very effective run game, he's got the touchdown numbers. Obviously, he's got the single-digit interception numbers going into Week 15, and he's played some high-end defenses, although I do think he throws one in Buffalo. Outside, a little bit of wind, you're not in a closed dome. Yeah. I think he's just so due to throw one in Buffalo next week. But for me, I'd go Dak Prescott for my MVP pick.
I do the same thing here. Just adding some stats here, he's almost at a 70% completion percentage.
It's very,
very
very
good
high
for a quarterback.
Very.
3,500 passing yards, which is atop the league, and 28.
Yeah, he'll hit 5K. No,
yeah.
Nah, he won't.
He need like 400 in the last couple games. And then 28-6 touchdown to interception ratio, which is really good. And like you said, he's kind of evolved the offense. Oh, sorry. He's evolved the offense really good. Like he's pretty much made CeeDee Lamb, although he has the talent.
CeeDee Lamb, although Dak Prescott has made him really good.
Yeah.
I have to say, I was never extremely, extremely high on him. But the separation this dude creates in his route tree, it might be top 3 in the NFL now. It might be. He is one of the cleanest route runners I've seen. He's got the hands. When you see this guy drop a football? Never.
Not much.
Never. I bet you couldn't throw up 10 career clips in the NFL of him dropping a football. He just seems so smooth to me, and especially being on an offense where there's A.J. Brown's got Devonta Smith, Chase has T. Higgins, Debo's got Ayuk. They have guys to rely on, to go to. You can't go to Cooks. You can't go to Gallup. You can't go to Kevontae Turpin. You can't go to Jake Ferguson. Obviously, he spreads the ball around really good, but when it's go time, it's going to CeeDee Lamb, and they know that, and he's still winning against the best corners in the league, too. That's why, I don't know. You said he's overrated?
I don't know. No, I just said that just to say it.
Who's CeeDee Lamb?
He's good. He's good, but I think Dak's low-key, helping him out this
For
year.
me, I'd put CeeDee Lamb anywhere
He's
between...
comfortably, top 10.
I'd put him 7 to 4, max.
I wouldn't put him 4th.
If he has extreme playoff...
7.
If he has
eight.
extreme playoff success,
I'd put him 8.
he's going up my list like crazy.
I couldn't rip off the top of my head, but he's probably around
Obviously,
8
Tyreek Hill, Jefferson. If you want, I still say Devonta Adams just because I know the talent he has.
And Chase too.
Chase.
Those 4.
And then it kind of opens up.
And AJ Brown. I'd put those 5 above him 100%.
Cup. I don't know if Cup's there anymore.
I'd take CeeDee Lamb over Cup personally. Right now, I'd take CeeDee Lamb over Cup.
Hard to say.
Cup looked pretty good last week.
150 yards on a good Raven on a man-to-man Ravens team, so that would have got busted a lot against that Rams team. I knew that team was going to cause a little bit of problems for them. The offense just seems so annoying. The Rams offense.
Ravens got a cheat win too. That's crazy. Off the block in the back on the punt. Did you see that?
No one talked about it. Everyone was whining about Mahomes.
Yeah, I know.
Let's be honest. Every single punt return, somebody does something.
It's a blind
every time.
Yeah. It's like a Wyatt. That's like
it's
the
guys
Wyatt
that
club.
get on the field.
If you go to the Jets versus Bills one, the clip I saw it today before we recorded this, I could have thrown 3 flags on the play on the return. There's guys cut sticking. There's guys throwing blocks to the side, but they're really in the back. You could throw them. Yeah. Let's just admire the return. Refs aren't ruining games like they might have done in KC.
Yeah, Lions got robbed too.
No,
there's one play that was bad, but
against the Bears they got robbed.
No, we were already dead.
I was gonna say you can't say you got robbed against the Bears.
No, we need to lose that.
Anyways, I didn't really have it on there, but Chiefs versus Bills, was it offside? Yes or no?
Yeah.
A rule is a rule.
Sorry. Sorry. Let me reword it. It was offside.
Yeah.
Do you agree with the call in the moment?
Obviously, a rule is a rule. The ref is supposed to do their job. I don't know what else you're supposed to say.
So
they should call
people pulled up clips of Tony in the game previously lining up offside. three more times, and it wasn't called. So
Well,
obviously, if he's offside and the ref sees
And that
it,
one he
you
was
throw
like
it. But
way offside though.
yeah, and
When you're like 3 yards ahead of the right tackle.
I'm not gonna sit up here and defend the Chiefs like, oh my gosh, they got robbed.
Yeah.
You were lined up offside. It doesn't matter.
And that flag came out like literally before. Mahomes could have threw that in the dirt when he saw the flag. Like they just act like, oh, that big play happened. Like the refs are fucking
Yeah, they throw that
psychic.
flag right when it happens.
Yeah,
It's not like they
they're
call
acting
it
like the refs
after.
are psychic and they knew that they were gonna score.
The
So they
only
threw a
the only
flag.
Chiefs defense
Like-
honestly was not this Sunday, but last Sunday night, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, revenge, runs the deep post.
That was rigged, actually.
Absolute pass interference.
That was pass interference
in the
but
end zone. That's the one where I'd freak
that
out
could have
on
got
that
way more.
over this.
That should have
Yeah.
got way more.
That would have
shit
been
than
game. It was a 5-point game. You go in, you punch it in, Chiefs win. There's like 30
Yeah,
seconds
they
on the
would've won
clock. Chiefs
100%.
win the game. So I honestly, from a fan, if I was a fan, I'd be more mad at the PI because
Yeah,
that was
same.
blatant.
I wouldn't even be
Tony,
mad
you
about
were
this.
offside. Obviously, because Mahomes is complaining, everyone's gonna complain, right? But for
Yeah.
Mahomes, cry me a river. You've gotten enough calls in your career. You literally got one in the Super Bowl that was as 50-50 as it gets, and they threw it your way. So, and it was a tie game. So I don't. And it was a tie game. They milked the clock down and kicked the field goal, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's what they did.
So, like everyone said, he's the last person to complain about calls.
Yeah,
That should complain about calls, besides the Eagles.
I lost a little respect from that.
I've lost all respect.
Well, obviously,
Well,
look
yeah,
at the
no
jersey you're
shit.
wearing.
No
Um,
shit, buddy.
Since you're wearing that jersey before we end off, Broncos Lions this Saturday,
This is
huge
awesome.
showdown.
Yeah.
Your favorite team versus your favorite team, major playoff implications.
Yeah.
Whoever loses, well,
would've-
if you guys
Who
lose,
would
your,
have thought, for the Broncos?
I can't say if the Lions lose, they're maybe in jeopardy of
If we
losing the
lose,
division.
yeah, it's
Like
possible.
maybe if you split
Maybe.
with the Vikings and then something happens and there's a major collapse, maybe.
Yeah,
For the Broncos, if they lose,
they can still make it.
they can still make it, but the playoff hopes do slim out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'll start with you, Jay, because I already know the BS he's gonna run on with. What do you look for in this game? Lions need a huge bounce back win here.
I
Need
think.
it.
Well, literally everything that could have went wrong in Chicago
Did
went
go
wrong, and I kind of knew it was gonna happen just because Goff never played good in the cold. So I kind of was expecting us to lose, especially because the first game we played against the Bears, like we should have lost.
Yeah.
And I was at that game. That game was awesome. You should have came. I don't know why you didn't, but
Sunday night.
I don't know.
Watch the nice Broncos win.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, just makes me sick thinking about that. But
Mute his
anyways.
mic.
Yeah, mute his mic. Anyways, but yeah, I just think it's about the offense getting back in gear, and Broncos defense, if I'm not mistaken, has been pretty good. Like the
gotten better
back
throughout the
half of
season.
the season.
It's gone better throughout the season.
So okay, no,
Right now.
this is gonna be the most annoying
He
game
just
ever
reads
to
into
watch.
the fan bias stats that Ed
Yeah,
just posted.
Broncos Edge is posting some Tom.
Like if I pull up his Twitter thread, I guarantee I'll see a defensive rating stat.
100%.
Go ahead though.
But I don't know. I just think it's about getting the offense back. I know Broncos can't really defend the run super well.
No.
So definitely looking for
Without
good run
O-line, I
game.
don't know how you're
Bro,
Okay,
Sorry.
bro,
stop cutting me off.
god damn.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Chunk. Oh my god. Anyway, okay, just go ahead.
No. Actually, no.
I don't have anything
I'll
else to
let you
say.
go first.
Go.
Go ahead, Joey. Go ahead.
Well, I think this is two teams that preach physicality, and
Oh please, the
I think-
Broncos don't preach physicality.
I think
bro.
Sean Payton really does. And
Lions would never be seen.
I think the
getting
Lions are
tackled.
kind of fake tough, and I think the Broncos will have their way in anything they want to do in this game. Because I don't see how the Lions are going to stop Javonte Williams.
They will not do
We
that.
have, like, the
With
best
Ali
run defense
McNeil
in
I don't know
higher,
how
they
they're
won't
going to
do
stop
that.
him.
No, don't worry.
And their DBs are terrible.
You know what that means? Bugs is back.
No.
This-
Big Pooh Bear's back.
If there were to be any game besides a playoff game you're down or a must-win season game, this is the game that Sean Payton lets Wilson get cut loose for some moon
Yeah.
balls.
Good.
This is the game.
Yeah.
I do expect Russell Wilson to throw an interception, though, because this Lions defense has been getting grilled all week.
Jack Campbell interception.
They have to
book it.
have a
He's
response.
terrible in coverage.
He's awesome.
No.
He's good
So-
in coverage.
I'll say my unbiased point of view before this, but score prediction for Saturday.
Minus 27-24 Broncos.
Okay.
Yep. I saw the line and it opened up at -3.5, and I said a lot of people are going to be thinking the Broncos are going to lose by a field goal, but I was like, nope, it's a trap. Lions by 10 at least. 30-20 Lions. Yeah.
For me,
Merkfest.
Dan Campbell, as much as I don't like him as a coach, he's going to be sitting on this game. It's a home game. They already got embarrassed on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They just almost blew it to the Bears. And then went to Chicago and lost to the Bears. Who did they play last week, sorry?
Who?
The week before.
Oh, my
Lions.
gosh.
Was it a
before
bye
the
week?
Bears? No, we played.
The Bears had a bye week.
No,
Who-
the Lions.
Who did we play before we played
Packers
the Bears?
on Thanks-
Was it? No, we
no,
played
Saints,
another game.
Saints and
yeah.
then Packers.
That was like a
You beat the
irrelevant
Saints
game.
in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You walked them, yeah.
Yeah.
Way
Closer
kinda
than,
close.
or way.
So they
no,
win
not
that
as
game.
close as the score.
So
No.
basically, my outlook is they lose to the Packers in a pretty embarrassing fashion on Thanksgiving. They play Chicago in Detroit. They almost blow that game, which they should have lost. They beat the Saints. Saints don't really move me too much. Then they go to Chicago and they lose this game. This is kind of like a rough patch for the Lions right now. You have a Saturday game. It's basically a primetime game, only game on. And you have to come out and you have to show people why you deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And why you think that you need to win a football game. Sorry, why you should fear people that you're going to win a playoff game.
Yep.
Lions need to come out. They need to run the ball first. You need to start off with Montgomery.
Yeah.
Mix it up with Gibbs. Get the tempo off a little bit for these linebackers that like to play very dirty.
Lots of headshots. Kareem Jackson's out though, thankfully.
For me though, I'm gonna go the Lions. I'm gonna go high scoring game. 35-28 Detroit Lions win.
Let's go.
Touchdown game.
Yep,
Wilson,
trap.
like I said, Wilson's gonna be throwing tons of moon balls.
The Vegas
I
trap.
think Wilson has over 300 passing yards. Sutton's getting some. Judy, watch out, maybe. Although I think he's a full blown bust.
Depends. If Jerry Jacobs is
Dulcich
on
looks
him,
like maybe he's trending to play.
3 yards.
Dulcich may be trending to play Saturday. Full participant.
Yeah, he'll
today.
be really limited if he does play though.
So yeah, I'm expecting both teams to run the ball a lot, but once this run game's kind of identified that they can't stop the box, they're going to start to be loaded a little bit. We'll see some man coverage, and those deep shots will obviously be taken by Ben Johnson and Sean Payton.
J-Mo
So I'm
touchdown.
expecting a pretty high scoring game for this one. Lions edge it out. I think they need this win more than the Broncos. Broncos have been riding such a high right now.
Yeah,
There's one point where they're going to crash, although they lost to the Texans.
They're so due for a crumble.
So they are due for a high-scoring affair because the defense has been playing super, super good too.
Yeah.
But I think the Broncos score and kind of keep up with the Lions. But I got the Lions out in them by a touchdown. Maybe could be a game-winning drive by Jared Goff to kind of shut up the Hendon Hooker fanboys.
Yeah, he does.
I really haven't seen him in a 2-minute drill in a while.
Check
Besides
the Week 18 film 2020.
Maybe Chicago.
I think there is. I don't know.
Regardless, I got the Lions.
And Chicago. Yep.
I got the Lions by a touchdown. 35-28, take the over. Always bet responsibly, though, as Coach Dillon says, right?
Take the over. Take the Lions in this one. Take the over.
Going to a topic that I've been preaching for almost a year now is a receiver that I've constantly said, I don't care what he does, he's still top 10. A lot of people were quick to call me dumb, he's not a real receiver, he doesn't do it right. There's so many guys that are way better than him because he sometimes in the regular season he tends to be in and out of the lineup a little bit. Would you rather Deebo Samuel? First name, Keenan Allen. Go ahead, Joey.
I'd go Keenan Allen.
I think I would too. Like just for this season, yeah. I'd take Keenan.
This year, I think statistically he has had a better season, but I would go Deebo Samuel. I have to stand on. I think he's that effective towards a team that is pretty stacked. Next name, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Go ahead.
Amon-Ra.
Yeah, same.
I'm still gonna go Deebo Samuel, and the reason why I honestly am super high on Deebo Samuel. This team is packed with talent. We all know that the offense is packed with talent, but Deebo Samuel, he's the tone setter of this offense. He shows it that he was out. Him and Trent Williams, the two culture guys that they lead him out of the tunnel.
Young boy boom
They've been there for a while. They were out for 3 games in a row before the bye week. Mm-hmm. Browns, loss. Vikings, Monday Night Football, loss. Bengals, Fox, 4:25 p.m., must-win game against the Bengals, bounce-back game, loss. Going to the bye week, they get healthy. They start on a roll again. Deebo Samuel on fire right now. Most rushing touchdowns in NFL history for a wide receiver. 19 rushing touchdowns. Receiving yards, he's probably going to hit 100. He's that effective and he's that impactful on a team where if you put, say, Deebo Samuel on the Lions, do you think he is more impactful than Do you think he has a bigger impact than St. Brown?
No.
Why?
No, because St. Brown is literally like the number one. Like, if we didn't have him, we wouldn't be scoring more than 10 a game.
Nah.
Like, realistically, we wouldn't be. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Who's
10?
second in the depth chart compared to him? You guys were saying this all offseason. We don't have a wide receiver too.
Of course. But I think Deebo can be a wide receiver
Deebo's job is so easy compared to St. Brown.
No.
Yes.
No,
you have
it's
McCaffrey,
not.
you have that O-line, and you have Ayuk.
Of course.
You never know where the ball is
going. But Deebo Samuel's the one cracking these huge plays, taking the huge receptions to the house, being the bruiser. He's more of a bruiser than McCaffrey, and McCaffrey's the freaking running back. So Deebo, although the offense is packed, he's the guy. He is the guy, obviously, besides McCaffrey, we know what he is. He's taking up these number one target shares. He's taking the rushes. He's taking everything. He's the reason. He's the motor of this San Fran offense, and that's why I think he can be a motor as a wide receiver 1. Obviously, the Lions don't have a wide receiver 2. St. Brown, he's going to soar way over 100 receptions. He's at 87 on the season already, and it's week 14. St. Brown is a guy that you put into an offense, and he is a target hog. What we were just saying the Giants needed, a guy to soak up receptions. But do I think Deebo Samuel can be as impactful as him? Yes, I can. You could play Deebo in the slot as well without wide. He can take the targets. He'll give you a couple rushes. And with a good offensive coordinator like Ben Johnson, I feel like he can be as effective as St. Brown. I get what you're saying with St. Brown, as he's obviously a pure better receiver. But I like what Deebo Samuel does overall because he's so dynamic and you don't really know how he's going to be used.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because, like, if I'm San Fran, I'd rather have Ayuk than Deebo. Like, I think he's more valuable to the Niners than him, same as McCaffrey. So that's 2 players already on offense I'd rather have more than him. I'd take St. Brown over anybody in the Lions, including Goff. Like, as our best player, for sure. Actually, maybe Sewell, but that's another argument. That's a stupid argument.
Next name, DJ Moore.
Deebo.
Oh, that's hard.
No,
I think
Deebo.
I think I'm going to take Deebo, though, slightly.
I'm also going Deebo Samuel. 2 more names, DJ Moore.
You just said
what?
Oh, sorry, DK Metcalf, sorry.
Deebo. It's like the same name.
DK is terrible.
Yeah, I'd take Deebo, too.
All right, I'm also going Deebo. Last name, Brandon Ayuk. You obviously said Ayuk.
I'm going to take Ayuk.
Who are you going?
It's hard because they're like 2 opposite players.
This is not who is the better receiver. This is who is the better player.
I think the better football player is Deebo.
Absolutely. Who's the better route runner and catch it, run a crosser over the field and grab a touchdown on a fade ball? Brandon Ayuk. He's the better pure receiver. Who does more on the football field?
Deebo
Samuel. I get going into the season how you could argue that because you could project Brandon Ayuk to have a monster season like he's having right now. Already at 1,000 receiving yards. Deebo Samuel, to be clear, has been in and out of the lineup too this year. He's missed 3 games. So Brandon Ayuk has had those opportunities to get 100 yards consecutively against these teams without Deebo. But when you implement Deebo into this offense, it goes to another level. We saw in the playoffs against the Rams, he was running all over them in the NFC Championship. Against the Seahawks, wildcard weekend last year, he was everywhere. Against the Eagles, he was getting touches every play when Purdy went down. And look what he just did to the Philadelphia Eagles. This isn't even a recency bias take. He's been doing this his whole career from when he was in the Super Bowl his rookie year. He is that good of a receiver, and he's the best receiver after contact by miles. So you'd go Ayuk just based off of what?
I just think he's a better player. Like I think Debo's like really good. Obviously, I think it's really close, but I think I also agree with that. He's the best after contact receiver too. Like
A.J. Brown's close.
It's just really hard to. Yeah, I know, but
Stuff
it's just
Debo
really hard
does
to,
with his legs though is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just really hard to judge though.
The one thing I'd say is I think Ayuk can fit in any offense. I think Debo needs to play schemed for him, but he is
That's what I'm saying.
But now in the NFL, every coach that's hired
knows what to do with their players.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Every coach, like if you go fast forward to the NFL in 3 years or 2 years when Debo's a free agent, say he leaves San Fran, God forbid.
Yeah.
He's not gonna go to the Commanders with, Eric Bieniemy, like he even knows how to use guys. Curtis Samuel looks like a mini Debo Samuel, but the point is if he goes to a team like the Patriots, he wouldn't be able to do. They'd have him running post routes and out routes and stuff.
Yeah.
If he goes somewhere like Miami, Shane Steichen, Colts, like just stuff like that, every person that's getting hired knows exactly how to scheme players. So that's why I'm not really worried about how he can fit in an offense, because all these coaches now are making sure their best players are getting touches.
I agree.
But I get what you mean. Ayuk obviously is the traditional wide receiver. It's easier to scheme for him. Obviously, these guys are going to have to think way more. What do I do with this guy that's as good as a running back as he is receiver? It's obviously way harder to implement him.
But when you do,
they're so much more capable of doing it now. Moving on to the NBA here with our last topic before we go to Thursday Night Football. The Warriors can't stay out of drama this year, whether it's going on losing streaks, trading Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins' career lows across the board. Draymond Green's been ejected for the third time this year, and it's looking like he's going to be suspended for the second time this year. The incident choking out Rudy Gobert led to a 5-game suspension. I kind of looked at that. I said, okay, he's defending his teammate, whatever. You do that once. That's a very rare situation that happens in the NBA. It's the biggest fight I've seen all year by far.
Yeah.
Draymond Green last night against Phoenix Suns, started the third quarter. Seems to be slightly tugged, and he's trying to sell the call, in his words. Does a 180 and right hooks Yusuf Nurkic right in the cheekbone, square in the face. But he didn't mean to do it. Draymond Green, obviously, I'm a Warriors guy. He's a repeat offender. He's known to be doing this.
Yeah.
So everybody, including myself, number one, you knew it was an ejection when it happened. Number two, it's going to be a suspension. Number three, my question to you, how many games will repeat offender Draymond Green get this time around?
Well, how many did he get for Gobert? 5? Double it.
That was the
10.
That was the chokehold, right? That was awful.
Actually,
I'd put it at like
you literally
10.
Like he hit him with his wrist, but you still hit a
No,
guy in
I'd
the
say
head
like
in
10.
basketball.
He did a helicopter
sport,
spin like
other
Tyler
than soccer.
Purdy and fucking hooked him right in the
Yeah,
cheek.
like that's got to be 10 games.
Yeah,
for
I'd say
him.
10.
So, what I want to happen versus what I think will happen. I want just another, because Draymond Green went to the post-game press conference. He says, I'm not usually an apologetic person, but I apologize to Nurkic because I didn't mean to do it. I don't know if that will fool the NBA in any which way. I don't think it will. I'm hoping for another, obviously he did it, and he's still in trouble for it, another 5-game suspension. Yeah. If I were to predict what type of number of suspension it will be, all right, perfect, actually. Taking a break. Actually might have been, that's maybe why he called through.
Probably.
Wyatt, side note, never call my phone twice or else there will be a physical consequence next time. That's not a threat. It's just a statement. Moving on from that, do you mind searching that up now?
Yeah.
Draymond Green has been indefinitely suspended, per my dad. Let's see how credible his sources are. We're about to find out. As we were talking about Draymond Green, the video cut out as we were saying our suspension. I didn't even get it off, but my prediction was 10 games if he were to get suspended. 10 to 15 games. Is this
it's true.
true?
Indefinitely.
What's the news? Indefinitely?
So, like, what does that mean? Just forever?
Like, until they like, John Morant was suspended indefinitely, like...
Until they figured out what his consequence.
I had him in fantasy, so this is very bad. I got a guy who was suspended on my bench indefinitely. So as we were talking about this, it looks like Draymond Green was suspended. This makes it very interesting for the Warriors. Obviously, what we just said, Wiggins and Clay have been playing the worst of their career. They need a trade, and now you kind of have the two guys that were honestly look untouchable, Curry and Draymond. Draymond's now in jeopardy, and this is very, very bad for the Golden State team. Is there like a ESPN report or statement on what it says on Twitter? Like,
Sure.
Did we get a Shams tweet? Did we get a Woj tweet? Ryan probably said something. See if he sent a notification.
Nope.
So
Yeah.
Draymond.
Bleacher Report just says, per Woj,
I see
suspended indefinitely.
Yeah, so he'll be out for a while. Indefinitely, like 20 plus. John Morant. By the way, may I add, this shows that the NBA is getting very, very soft. I don't care that Draymond's a repeat offender. John Morant has gotten suspended, I believe. He got 25 games for showing a gun on Instagram Live in the in the off season on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
And now Draymond Green throws a punch that didn't knock anybody out, didn't significantly harm anyone, and he is going to be suspended as much as John Morant, that's been to strip clubs, showing sticks, we'll call it, and on Instagram Live showing sticks. So I don't really know. There's going to be something, obviously, this season or next season that's just going to be, someone's going to do something dumb.
Yeah.
And the suspension's either going to be way more or way less. And the consistency of the suspensions is going to look so stupid. Because, sadly, these aren't, the NBA's usually been physical suspensions, but now you give these guys social media, 5x the money it was 20 years ago, and you give them a little bit of clout. These guys won't. So a lot of these guys don't know how to act, sadly, and that's a big problem with the NBA now. Is that it's taking away from the talent we get off court. One of the best players in the game was suspended because he still hangs around people that are gang affiliated. Like, bro, you have a contract for $250 million.
Yeah.
And you do this stuff. It's not like Draymond Green. He's out there showing guns and stuff. The guy's playing on the court. Yeah. He's obviously dirty, but come on, man. Just call it 10 games and call it a day. We aren't suspending this guy more than John Morant. Do you think Draymond Green deserves more games than John Morant?
I don't think he'll get that more than him.
What's your prediction? Indefinitely. What's
20.
your prediction? 20?
20.
Like, they can't suspend him for longer than the playoffs.
No,
they're
not.
Don't even matter.
Max,
he might be out longer than the All-Star break.
Max, I think he comes back after the All-Star break.
That's what I think will be.
Complete max. That's a 2-month suspension. That's crazy.
That's probably what he'll get.
You're swinging your hands around.
He's doing a freaking helicopter. Forearm
That's
shiver.
Insane.
But like John Morant, also
a champ too.
Where he is, maybe the gun is allowed.
It doesn't matter.
I know.
It's the NBA.
Still
the
not
NBA.
against the law.
The NBA is every state.
That'd be like me going on my work
No,
group
but he got
chat,
suspended. He got suspended more for how it the public image of the NBA.
Yeah.
Let's make that clear. Obviously, maybe he was in Memphis, Tennessee, wherever he's from. I don't know. I don't know any gun laws in the U.S. But obviously, it's a terrible look. You're in the NBA. You don't need to be flashing guns around. You could have security if you want to.
Yeah.
But obviously, he's still trying to live out the street life. So if that's who he is, he won't be in the NBA much longer. It's if he does that again, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. Adam Silver made it clear. This is 25 games. If you do anything like that again, and number one, he's one of the most like players that people look up to now because he's jumping over guys. He's trendy, right? Like kids that are getting into basketball, they look at John Morant. Where's John Morant? His parents look it up. Got suspended for gun. Oh, John Morant, he's just hurt right now. Like, what are you gonna tell him? He's flashing a gun at a strip club. You're gonna say that to your 10-year-old kid? You can't. It's tough for the league because they do have to represent themselves in a good way, and that's why they love guys like LeBron, Giannis, Curry, because these guys they look out for their family. They play basketball. They don't try to do too many things. It's great for the league. Yeah. Those guys are great for the league. Jokic, after he wins the finals, I just want to go home and be with my horses.
Yeah. Can't blame him, man.
If John Morant wins, we going to Vegas, baby, like, and all this stuff. So it's extremely different how these characters are in the NBA. It's what a lot of these guys have a ton of different personalities. Tons. And it sucks to see because some of the best players, they don't know how to control themselves on the court or off the court. So you think 20 or more?
I think All-Star, however much the All-Star break is.
25.
That's probably what
25.
Insane. That's insane for a pot.
Well, because the thing is, though, they know he does it on purpose, though. So it's just like, I don't know. And flashing a gun on IG is like, realistically, if he was just any other person, it wouldn't even be bad.
No, obviously.
No.
That's the thing.
But the guy's got his own shoe with Nike.
I don't even think he was flashing it, though, was he?
Yeah,
he was.
Like he wasn't the one in the strip club.
No, he wasn't like this.
The one in the strip club, he was going like this on Instagram Live.
I didn't see that.
He learned his lesson, but on the one in the car, his friend was on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
And flipped to him, and he was holding one in his hand. So that it's basically his friend ratting him out, but he knows that's what they do still.
Yeah.
Like they still like to show that stuff on social media. It's so different. Yeah. So I don't know. The NBA is one of the most entertaining things. Like besides off court, so much stuff happens on social media. These house of highlights pages are making millions off the dumb stuff people are doing.
Yeah.
Regardless, that's gonna do it for episode 31 of the Alec. Oh no, it's not. Thursday Night Football, Easton Stick versus Aiden O'Connell. Score prediction, what do you got?
3-4. No, I just can't. You can't score 4. 7-17.
4
for Vegas.
I think Vegas rolls here. I think they'll
right behind it, baby. Raiders country.
Sadly, I think they'll do their stupid cigars after when they're already eliminated out of the play. I don't know why they did that. They beat the Jets and the Giants, and they thought they were
Giants. They did the cigars.
Both of them.
Well, yeah.
And they thought they were so good, and now it's catching up to them.
Yeah.
But now they're playing a team without their 2 best players. So,
and Eckler is looking very washed.
Yeah, he's slower than
he
a
won't
freaking
do much.
7-8.
He better without Keenan
Allen. I mean,
he better getting all those checkdowns. Eckler receptions line's probably at 6.5.
Probably.
Anyways, who do you got? Score.
I got
Raiders.
13-3 for Vegas.
Who's getting in the end zone?
For Vegas?
Any team.
Adams might not play, so it's kind of hard to predict.
Adams might not
Amir
play.
Abdullah touchdown.
He's sick.
He'll play.
I think Jacoby Myers will be mine.
Amir Abdullah?
Jacoby Myers.
I think Adams will play. Say he does. This is finally going to be the breakout game that fans are looking for from Davante Adams. He hasn't had one all year. This is the game. Aiden O'Connell's playing for his job, basically. Antonio Pierce thought about going back to Jimmy Garoppolo. God, no, please. Davante Adams gets in the end zone, 120 yards. Finally, Aiden O'Connell gets to keep his job because he's thrown to a top 3 receiver finally in the NFL. Raiders win.
Raiders are in their
Raiders win 20-10.
Yeah, and Raiders.
I got Raiders 20-10. Daniel Carlson hits a 60-yard field goal at the end of the first half.
Wow. Interesting.
That's going to do it for episode 31 of the Alec Frengos Show. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time.